It has been an amazing experience creating, writing, hosting, and producing this season of the Dhvani Podcast. It was actually last year, somewhere in October or November of 2019, when I started pitching the idea to people that I want to do a podcast. Since I already had a lot of gears for music, I tried convincing them to sit with me for a conversation that I can record and put up. And frankly, like many others, I thought that it would be easy. Podcast is just sound, right? How hard it can be. But gradually I understood the efforts it takes, especially when you have to do some quality work. I learned a lot of things in this process, in this year that was full of ups and downs. Actually, the pandemic helped me in focusing my energies and attention to this a lot. And I learned a number of things in this process. One is that I am not able to do anything half-heartedly. And I think it's a good thing. Second, whenever you need good quality, you need to put in efforts, you need to be consistent. There's no escape. Like there's music, branding, website, and many other things that go in the entire process. I understood all of that. And even after all that, I can tell you that there's still a long way to go. Like while the theme music of the podcast is original, the other sounds that I've used in the episodes have been taken from the free YouTube music library. It would be so nice if I can do that original as well, right? And similarly, there are other things that go into making a podcast, like graphics, which I did single-handedly for each and every episode. Seth Godin, who is a big shot marketing guru, says podcasting is the new blogging, and he's not wrong. While podcasting has been around for a very long time, today there are much more reasons that we should take a serious note of this industry. You must listen to the first episode of the season where I've tried to explain the importance of audio and podcasts for myself and how it might be for you too. I'm also planning to do a bonus episode explaining this further somewhere in the coming months. I will also be working on the Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram handles of Dhvani Podcast after wrapping up this season and while I'm preparing for the next one. The next season, season 2, would be coming out somewhere in February or March of 2021. And while the theme is still under planning, there are some other ideas that are happening in parallel with some of my friends. So that's there too. And if you don't want to miss out on all these things, please log on to dhvani.co.in/podcast and subscribe to our emailing list so you get all the updates. And I have been asking you to listen to this podcast on whichever podcasting platform you prefer. If that is too confusing for you, you can actually go to the website and listen to the episodes. That is easier. It is dhvani.co.in/podcast. Okay, now in this episode, I've included a little recap of all the English episodes that were released in this season. The recap of Hindi ones would be in the Hindi version of this episode. If you haven't listened to any of them or some of them, maybe a snippet would convince you to listen to the whole thing. You can go to the website or any podcasting app that you prefer and find all these full-length episodes there. You must listen to them. And it has also been very emotional for me to collate all these ideas and thoughts and voices all together like this. So I hope you enjoy. Here we go. Which is podcasts itself. How I look at them and why I think sound plays an important role in all of our lives. So I belong to the generation that grew up with a radio in the house. For my household, radio was and even today is a very important part. As far back as my memory goes, I remember waking up to the sound of bhajans, which is religious or spiritual music in Indian languages, on FM radio. And I think subconsciously that eventually got me interested in music and prepared me to listen to people talking.
Very enjoyable to explore what I can cook, what I can mix. And I think Maastricht offers you a lot of, there are a lot of stores you can buy vegan products. You can go to the market, really nice fresh produce. They have organic markets if you prefer also eating more local and organic. And also one of the reasons I mentioned being in US was to give some kind of comparison.
Mm-hmm.
If veganism wouldn't be financially supported, veganism wouldn't really exist in the days that it exists now. But I think that people are born vegan, and giving dairy products and meat products to people is that is actually driven by capitalism. because
Yeah,
we shouldn't eat meat, we shouldn't drink milk, we shouldn't eat yogurt.
Now, honestly, I'm not proud of doing that, but I learned two very important things from that episode. The first being the importance of clear communications, how necessary it is to convey your message with clarity and in the best way possible, especially when the moment is crucial and the stakes are high. No matter how much time or effort it might take, I make sure to put across my thoughts in the best of my abilities as much as possible to save myself from an embarrassing situation that might occur in the future. Not only in musical situations, but also in other contexts, in any relationship, in office, while communicating with the boss, with subordinates, anyone. The first season of Serial is about a true crime. Also, this particular podcast is often considered as one of the first and best podcasts on true crime that has been ever made. It basically started off this genre of true crime in podcasts. It's about a first generation American boy born to Pakistani parents who was charged with the murder of his ex-girlfriend who was of Korean origin back in 1999. He was convicted, charged and eventually jailed for life. The creator of this podcast, Sarah, started this sort of a reinvestigation of this case in the capacity of a journalist, and through her interviews and research, she was able to uncover so many loopholes in the entire story that not only led to an unprecedented popularity of this podcast, but the boy got so much support of the people and attention of authorities that his case was reopened after 15 years of his imprisonment. That's how powerful this podcast is.
So the MBA, to me also, I know it as you did. I know that you do the MBA after you've at least had like 7 years of experience.
Yeah.
Because with an MBA, you really make use of whatever you have seen, your experience in your job before having done the MBAs. And it helps you to ask and to know what you want to seek from that MBA degree.
Yeah.
And also, I read a lot of conflicting articles about the MBA. There are so many successful pioneers who were saying, do not waste your money nor your time on an MBA.
Right.
And also, there are a lot of people with MBA degrees and the programs aren't that good. But to me, it was MBA what I wanted to seek because specifically it teaches me about all functions of a company.
Right.
And I know that the MBA is known a little bit as an American invention.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to take... Americans are very practical. I like how just, straight to the point they are.
Yeah.
But I also I felt like I want practice, but also mixed with theory and culture. So I said I want to mix a little bit from Europe and the States.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, from what I knew from the Netherlands, they're the closest country in terms of culture. It was, I think, an assumption.
Okay. One of the very important things I realized about myself that was changing right there at that moment was that I became fearless. I was just not afraid of losing money, people, love, job, everything that we usually are scared of losing. Or if that sounds too dramatic, let's say I at least learned how to deal with that fear, tame it. And no matter how cliched Indian Mountain Dew's advertising tagline might sound, "Dar ke aage jeet hai," there's victory beyond fear. It is correct. And somehow the rat race that we all tend to be part of today has changed the meaning of this victory into something else altogether. Something not so fun, like competition, leg pulling, hypocrisy. It somehow makes people give up their humility because they think that being humble is a sign of weakness. But what I feel is that this fight, this competition was with my own self all along and nobody else. Not that manager that screwed my performance rating, not that colleague who was insecure all the time, not that friend who talked me out of pursuing my passion, not my teachers, and certainly not my parents. This cringe was maybe happening because of all these people, my Facebook friends, whom I often don't know very well, posting about their lives, what they are doing, where they are going, how they are feeling, who they are getting married to, and all these things that I might not care so much about in the physical world. And by that, I certainly don't mean that one shouldn't do it. I do it all the time on Instagram, even today. We all do it. But I am talking about this one feeling that I started to gradually and slowly develop. I gave a thought about it and I realized that Facebook is adding no real value to my life and is just pissing me off from time to time because I was constantly comparing myself to others, like how my routine is so mundane and this guy is having the time of his life. And so finally I deactivated my account, deleted the app and went back to doing whatever I was doing. And nothing changed except for the fact that my parents joined Facebook by then and they were not very happy that I left.
For me, the decision to leaving home was hard because of as we already said, how much that it was already kind of built up. I need to throw away, to leave behind, you know. And then it's always hard when you have something that you build, or not only you but and an expectation and everything. And it's always hard to say, no, mom, I don't want to study this anymore. I don't want to live here anymore. that was hard. The decision, in fact, to leave home was not that hard for me because I didn't feel that good at the moment. So like I was not really satisfied with my life, with what I had around. I don't know, like it was in a general not so good mood. So that part of the decision was easy. Was really hard to do like the more material, you know, like when you're gonna do, what you're gonna. That also like these kind of things for your parents raise a hell of a lot of question marks. You know, like a big. Okay,
what are you gonna do?
Exactly.
What are your plans?
Exactly. Now, before you had a plan, and now what is your plan? What? Yeah, mom, I don't know. I need time to figure it out. Like now, I'm just
figure it out. Yeah. Since I grew up in an Indian household, my perception of a healthy dietary plan and body was very similar to the typical Indian food habits and lifestyle, where from a very young age I was made to eat all kinds of fibers, proteins and carbs, and mainly a diet rich in fats, with our mothers adding this extra spoon of butter and ghee dripping out of the scrumptious meal cooked, which of course makes you very lucky if you got to eat those meals served with love. And that is also one of the reasons that I'm a huge fan of ghee today. The other thing is this problem of babysitting a pet. If you don't have such friends that can't babysit your pet, maybe you need to rethink about your friendships. There are many businesses today that would do that for you, but let's leave that for now. If your friends cannot take care of your dog once in a while, how will they take care of you when required? Think about it.
I'm an advocate for developmental language disorder, and there is a very big effort to try and raise awareness over this label, which is a diagnostic category. We seem to know autism and dyslexia, and developmental language disorder is actually far more common than autism is. And DLD is comorbid. That means that it can actually co-occur with dyslexia. So half of the people with dyslexia might have also hidden language difficulties as well, that are not about written language, but they're about, you know,
speaking vocal.
Yeah, speaking and understanding language. So about 7% of the population has this.
Like, I've been into chess for a very long time, much before Queen's Gambit on Netflix took over the internet. And I listened to this podcast called Seen Unseen, which is hosted by Amit Verma. And Amit mentions about this very interesting thing about chess, that today majority of the players in the world of chess, I think somewhere around 80%, are below the age of 18 because they have been practicing for years. And how they were able to do it? Chess.com. And if you think about it, there's no difference moving from a physical chessboard to an online chessboard, right? It is in fact better. You have access to all the world players. You can play with the computer. You can develop your skills in a much better way. So why not? With the rise of mobile gaming today, people are able to play and connect with each other like never before. So apart from giving the virus to each other, the ethos of globalization, which is to understand each other's culture, happens very conveniently with online gaming. And you know how we think about the people of the internet as mean, all the trolling and bullying that goes around. In the gaming world, somehow the people are very nice.
The thing that I would add is, and it's a mantra that I keep telling to myself, that sometimes, because I received a lot of comments in my life upon my body when I think about it, good, bad, whatever. I've noticed that people, when they see something that is different or they don't have or whatever, when sometimes people tend to randomly comment or randomly put labels, as we said before. So the only thing I would add is that we love our body, we ourselves, we are our own home. There's no other place you can go, actually. And I don't know, in a way this pandemic kind of made it clearer.
Right, exactly. Right.
Yeah, we are our own home. Our body is the only place you have to live.
And nothing else matters maybe beyond that after a point.
In a way it doesn't, because that's where you live.
Exactly.
So don't let, I would say don't let anybody tells you how your home should look like.
That's what happened to me when I watched a video about a girl who apparently generated just one jar of waste, one masonry jar of waste in 4 years of duration. And I watched this video 4 years ago. Her name is Lauren Singer, and now she runs a company that sells and promotes products that are package free and are made up of environment friendly materials like glass, metal, wood or ceramic. Like, she's so passionate about environment conservation, almost at the level of crazy, that she doesn't even use a refrigerator. Imagine that. It is so cool to listen to all these voices and thoughts in one go like this. It was so much fun to do this, and now I'm really excited to work on the next season as well. There were a bunch of discussions and interviews that I didn't release in this season because I think they would be more suitable for the next one. Also, I have almost all the videos of the interviews that I did during this season, so I would be putting that up gradually on YouTube. I didn't do it yet because it takes a lot of time to edit these things. So now I'll be doing it and uploading it on YouTube. It's called Dhvani Podcast on YouTube. Please go and subscribe it for sure. And if you're someone who's interested in this medium of podcasts, or if you want to take up a project on graphics, writing, website development, editing, music, or anything that you can think of, this is a good opportunity. I would request you to please reach out to me and talk to me. Maybe we can work together on something really nice. The email ID is info@dhvani.co.in. And again, you can log on to the website and have a chat with me, however you feel comfortable. All the details would be there in the show notes. Now, I would like to thank all the people who came onto the show, gave their valuable time to me, and were patient enough to have all these interesting discussions with me. Thank you to all of them. I would like to thank my dear friend Jacobo, who was my colleague in Maastricht. He made the theme music of this season. His artist name is Cutie-Pie Honey Bunch. I can't thank him enough for this favor. Thank you, man. Soumya Garg created the logo for Dhvani. This was pending for the last 2 years. She has immensely helped me in giving a meaning to not just this podcast, but the entire idea of Dhvani. I really like the logo, and it is one of the reasons I've been very consistent and committed to this entire idea. Thank you, Soumya. There are a number of people that I would like to thank, but the list is huge. So everyone who has supported me in this endeavor, thank you to you all. This episode and the entire season was hosted, written, produced and edited by me. My name is Parth Chauhan. I also manage the website of Dhvani, and before the podcast, me and my idea partner used to host open mic events in Bangalore. And if you check the handles of Dhvani Podcast on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, you will find a lot of content from that time, and it is very interesting content. I also used to edit and post videos of these open mic events on YouTube. The name is same, Dhvani Podcast. You must check it out. There are so many ideas and talents that are craving for your attention. Please go ahead and subscribe to all these handles wherever you can. Okay, that is pretty much about it in this episode and in this season. I hope you enjoyed the process so far and will continue to have faith in me, and you will continue to support me in the next year as well. If you like what I do and if you want to support me, you can buy me coffee. The link is there in the description. Happy holidays to all of you. A very, very happy new year. See you in 2021. Till then, take care. Goodbye.